Hello and welcome to Chuck's Diecast Car and Model Reviews. Today we're taking a look at this particular model. This is the Ferrari 550. This model is made by Maisto and is in 1/18 scale. It's not a bad model for the price. I got this, several years ago. I don't think I paid more than maybe, $25 or $30 for it. So it is a pretty decent model. Now, for those of you who don't know much about the Ferrari 550 Maranello, this car was built from, I believe, 1996 to 2001, and then it was replaced by the 575, which was essentially the same car but just with a little bit more horsepower. The 550, in the great wisdom of Ferrari, who cannot seem to make up their mind as to their nomenclature for their cars, the 550 stands for the size of the engine, with it being a 5.5 liter engine, which I guess the 550 means 550 centiliters. I don't know, but unlike other ones like the BB512, where it was a 5-liter 12-cylinder, or the 308, which was a 3-liter 8-cylinder, or the 250 GTO, which was 250 cc's per 12 cylinders. This one is a 5.5 liter. Had about, I believe, close to 500 horsepower. And I actually think this is a gorgeous car. And I think if I were in the economic status of somebody who could afford a Ferrari, this would be a car I would definitely consider. Particularly since I have a little story with the 550 Maranello, and that is this. Back in 2001, I went on vacation to Europe, and I rented a car. And one of the places I visited was Monaco, which was really neat because they had set up the Formula One track. It was about 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the race, so the track was all set up, so I got to drive that. And then I was driving to Milan. Now, when you drive from Monaco to Milan, it's actually a very scenic drive. I really recommend it. You're going through mountains. And actually, you're literally going through mountains, because I must have passed through about 10 tunnels on the way to Milan, and then you drive through this tunnel, and then you come to the place between the tunnels, and then all of a sudden there's this Renaissance-looking town, that looks, like it's been there for 500 years, along the seaside or whatever, and it was just a really, really neat drive. Well, anyway, I was driving through one of these tunnels, just enjoying myself in my little Volvo station wagon rental car, when some guy in a 550 Maranello blows past me in the tunnel, probably doing 100 miles an hour or so. And of course, it sounded fantastic. The V12 motor was beautiful. And when it blew past me like this, I thought to myself, well, now I'm finally in Italy. So that's my little 550 story there, okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at the model itself, okay? Now, again, this was a pretty inexpensive model. And but the detail here isn't too bad. I mean, you can see here, it's got the classic, 90s Ferrari 5-spoke rims. You can see the tires there, and I can't even tell what brand the tires are, but I believe they're Pirellis. And you can see a nice detail there in its own bargain way of the drilled rotors, but there is no caliper. You can see the same in the back here as well. Nice of them to include the Pininfarina badging above the gill slits here, which I like. That is a nice feature. That's sort of a look back to the GTO there. When you take a look at the front, detail again is pretty nice, and you can see that the paint is pretty good there too. The Ferrari badging on the grille is nice, and that is an actual perforated grille. You can see the driving lights here as well. Headlights look as they should with this particular model, and I was always just a big fan of this hood scoop there too. Let's go ahead and take a look under the hood here, and this is a front engine car. In fact, this was the first front engine two-seat GT that Ferrari had since the Ferrari Daytona in the early 70s, I believe. But when you take a look at this engine, it is a thing of beauty. It's hard to look at here because the hood doesn't open too much, but when you see the real thing, it is a very, very pretty motor. That V12, the dual intakes there, and dual air boxes and everything, very, very lovely. When you take a look at the rear of the vehicle, again, detail here is pretty good. Love the quad round taillights, the Ferrari badging, the quad exhaust. Trunk opens here to show you the, well, actually relatively decent sized trunk. And then when you look at the interior, nice things to see in here too. I love this color combination of the red with the tan interior, but take a look at that. Again, the oh, and it's a manual transmission, which is nice. You can see the gated shifter. The center console looks really good. Gauge cluster looks very good, and the steering wheel and even the pedal box is excellent there. You can see this one has the optional what are known as Daytona seats. Again, pretty good looking there. Seat belts are a little bit on the cheesy side with them being made of plastic and not flexible, so they're kind of bulging out there. Take a look at the Ferrari badging on the sill, and again, this all looks pretty good here. I guess that is it for this review of this car. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, a very nice model by Maisto for its price point and vintage. Have yourself a great day, and thanks for watching.